So up next, we have the proclamation recognizing the week of September 13th through the 20th as Interfaith Week.
You can do the thing, because you can see it up there.
Whereas our nation was founded on the principles of religious diversity and freedom, and Florida continues to uphold this tradition of religious tolerance. And whereas the interfaith efforts of various churches and faith groups have a rich history in the Sunshine State, and diverse beliefs have played an important role in the development of our communities. And whereas interfaith communities, coalitions, dialogues, and activities are rapidly growing locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. And whereas Interfaith Week celebrates our religious and cultural differences and acknowledges the ways in which this diversity enriches our society through compassionate listening and mutual understanding, and whereas our city prides itself on being one of the most multicultural cities in the world, St. Petersburg accepts and respects all religions, faiths, and beliefs that make up our diverse communities. And whereas Interfaith Week hopes to be an annual event that promotes a message of compassion and pluralism that holds our city up as an example of a community based on mutual respect, cooperation, and collaboration. Now, therefore, I, City Administrator Gary Cornwell, on behalf of Rick Kriseman, Mayor of the City of St. Petersburg, do hereby proclaim the week of September 13th through 20th, 2015, as Interfaith Week in St. Petersburg, and encourage all Bay Area residents to recognize the importance of respect, dialogue, and religious literacy in safeguarding the American values of freedom and democracy.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you guys again. This is our second annual Interfaith Week, and it was a year ago today that we were standing here talking about what a harebrained idea this thing was. And I just want to thank Mayor Kriseman for his unending support for Interfaith Week. I know that it's a thank you for your support of this second annual event that we've been putting together. I know that it's a personal, passion of yours and a belief of yours that this kind of dialogue is important in the community. And I also want to thank your aide, Lisa, for helping to make this happen again for the second year in a row. That's really important for us to have the support of the city for an event like this. I think that in an age, in a world where religion is used to divide so often, I think it's important that what we do at these interfaith events, when we create this dialogue and these roundtable experiences where people listen compassionately and there are a lot of ways to teach how to speak publicly, not a lot of ways to learn how to listen to one another. And so I think it's important to foster that in our community, and these interfaith panel discussions and workshops and film screenings and workshops, they help to create that environment here in our city. And I just think that it's been encouraging over the past year to know that we've had the support of the city for this initiative, and so we've seen about a 30% growth in the number of faith communities that are involved, as well as the number of proposals for panels and workshops that were submitted this year for faith communities that wanted to be involved. And so I think that we look to grow that even more for our third annual event next year, and hope to really grow this to the scale of something like you see a Festival of Faiths in Louisville, where it's a huge, they're shutting down the streets and there's performances, and Hanukkah is a huge sponsor, and if we can grow to that kind of level, that would be fantastic. So thank you so much for your support, and to all the faith communities that are involved, and to all the religious leaders that are involved in Interfaith Week. We owe it all to them, because that's what it's about. Thank you again.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I apologize for not, my intention was to be out here to read that, but I had the pleasure this morning of having breakfast also with this group, and we've gotten to do that several times since I've been mayor, and we have great dialogue and great conversation and talk about the issues and things happening in the city. And, you know, as I'm in an interfaith marriage, with my wife being Catholic, I'm Jewish, and, you know, what we've learned over our years being together, and I think what this organization really stands for, is really about commonality and what we have, where we share and what we share, not our differences, on celebrating those things that we share and that we hold dear to us. You know, and it all starts, so much of it starts with it all starts with the heart, but so much of it does start with faith. And it doesn't matter where that faith comes from and who it comes from. So I thank you all for creating this incredible dialogue and conversation in this community.
Wenge. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Kennedy.
Thank you. And your words of listening and tolerance, love those, and very much appreciate what you're doing, and really like your Planned Parenthood shirt. Thank you. And the combination of that, very good.
Councilmember Newton.
I think it's great. Love thy neighbor. You gotta respect everybody's faith. Who do you have with you? You waited a long time just like you did. You didn't even recognize them.
This is Ashley Sweet. She's one of the board members of Integral Church. And we have Vandana Dillon and Jake.
Jake?
Representing themselves. We've got
Representing love.
representing love.
There you go.
And community. Vandana will be leading the closing meditation, or the guided meditation, at our closing ceremony Sunday the 20th at First Unity Campus. And Sepida Eskandari from the Baha'i Center of St. Petersburg as well.
Welcome, welcome. Congratulations on 2 years.
So,
Thank you, everybody.
so one of my favorite Psalms is, "If today you hear his voice, harden not your heart." And to me, the reason I love that Psalm is it tells us to listen with our hearts and not with our brains. And so your call for compassionate listening resonates with me very strongly. And thanks for what you're doing. Spread the love. God bless all of you, and let us know what we can do to continue helping. Thank you. Thank you.